why not?
I'll hit the button. I'll hit the I'll hit the stream to Facebook button.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I just bought Facebook stock, so I kind of want to, now that if we stream there, it'll help bump the price up. They're on a down. I sort of felt bad about it because I don't like them, but I can't really say that. But I bought them anyway. I don't want to say I don't like them because they'll ban me again. They've unbanned me from Instagram, by the way. I can now respond to people.
Okay.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about the Nuova Simonelli. Did I say that right? Novella. Novelli. How do you say it, Max? It's an Italian. I can't do Italian.
Nuova Simonelli.
That's what I said, isn't it?
Not nearly.
Not even close.
Anyway,
do you know? I tell you what. Just before we get into it, let me ask you. So I'm writing a story for Bar Talks tomorrow. It's going out tomorrow. So I need your opinion on this.
Here he goes, making up stories again.
No, this is true. And I'm just holding the mic up because I want to set a trend. I don't have a stand for a mic. I mean, Max has got a stand for his. I have to. No, it doesn't work if you've got a stand because now it's superfluous. You're just doing it for the look. I practically need to have this because it says, I bend down. It's not good for my back. So I was going to say, I'll put it down. So I was going to say
anything for.
That reminds me of those old ice cream bars that you've got there. The choco bars. Ooh, You're making me hungry now. So I'm writing a story about the ICO, the International Coffee Organization. So they've got Mr. Sette is retiring. He's the outgoing.
He's not retiring. He's been bought by Sage, and
no, the ICO. They're an organization. Haven't been bought by Sage.
Sette.
No. Sette, not Sette. The grinders. Mr. Sette. Mr. Sette is the chief exec of the International Coffee Organization. I mean, maybe Sage has bought them. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. That would be like Apple buying the UK government. That's not even out of the question, really, is it?
No, I mean, is it really
they got the money?
Reality?
Boris would sell it in a heartbeat. Boris would be. He would be. How much do you want? How much is going to me? What's in it for me? That would be. So the International Coffee Organization, right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Sette's leaving, and there was a letter that they published their letters, and there was a letter that the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo government wrote to them, putting forward a candidate of their own. And in their application, they made the point. They said, "Look, he doesn't speak English very well." They didn't say to what degree. They just said, "We hope that his limited command of the English language won't count against him," which, looking this up, would be against the law, I think, in this country because it points back to discrimination based on origin, which is an interesting point because practically, like if you can't speak the same language, right? But here's the thing:
discrimination based on origin is just discrimination in terms of capabilities.
No, Max. We live in the 21st century and we're all enlightened here. You're not woke enough. Come back next week when you're more woke. Okay. All right.
Wait.
So
let me introduce some caffeine.
I'm gonna find some sound effect every time you take a sip of coffee. I'm gonna put a sound effect in there. I'm gonna gurgling.
Let's try.
Oh God, please! I'm gonna have to. I can't mute it. We're on live. All right, I shouldn't encourage you. So listen, here's the story, and we're gonna get onto the Oscar Simonelli in just a second. But I'm just
gonna sit here and watch how you do that.
What? Do what?
How you connect the dots. But that's my amusement.
Yeah, no, it's my amusement as well. To be honest with you, it's like you think I've got a plan or something, Max.
Don't you?
So, no, I just come on. We make it up as we go along. Somebody actually commented on the show last week on one of the YouTube's comments where you type stuff. They said, I love how you guys ramble on, or something like that.
We don't ramble on. We spend like whole seconds making a plan.
Except for this week, we haven't literally spent not even 1 second planning it. But that's not the point. ICO, this guy from DRC,
yes,
putting him forward as the new executive director, and he's got a limited grasp of the English language. Now, if you take a look at all the other offices, they are multicultural already. You got not Italians, you got Swiss there, Indians there, Brazilians there. So already, but I think the base language they all talk is English. And I did a bit of research, and I found that multicultural, multilingual boards perform better. And this was a study done, I was referencing a study done by an incubator. And they found that when they made investments in companies that were multilingual, they got basically around double the return of purely English boards. But my question is this, Max, taking all the political correctness out of it about, oh, yes, we all need to be, friends or whatever. The ICO is an international organization. Let's face it, not a lot of coffee is grown in England. Well, I mean, what should I write? If you could write my story for me, please. Should it make an impact whether they speak English, or should we embrace much more the multiculturalism to represent our industry?
I don't know. I mean, if you have to talk to each other, you probably need something.
Yeah, you do. You need to be. That's what I thought too. Having said that, on the other hand, it can bring to miscommunication can bring great innovation. That's right. I thought you said no. Well, that's going to be used. Yeah. You never know. A lot of things. Post-it notes came around from a mistake.
Yeah.
He was supposed to make something gluey.
Nova Simonelli, they probably had a miscommunication inside, because they decided, let's do a new coffee machine, and someone understood, let's make the same one, but in colors.
No, don't you go? That's a great segue, by the way. Don't you go dissing the note, because I was counting on you to really love on it. I've already written up the title.
I think.
Thank God, because I've written up the title. Post-it. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I said,
what's the title?
The title was. Do you see? Is. Do you see how? What? No. It's live. I can't change. Maybe I can change it. I don't know if I can change it. But anyway. It's something like, because I can't remember, I've got a note here. It's something like the Nuova Simonelli.
Nuova Simonelli.
Nuova Simonelli.
Nuova.
Yeah, sorry. Oscar II. This is why we need to be multilingual. Yeah, now unbeatable value? Question mark.
It's not Oscar II. It's Oscar Mood.
What? What's the mood? Is there a new one? Is there a mood?
Yeah, there is Oscar Mood now.
I haven't seen that
Oscar II.
I'm guessing Oscar Mood's got lights. Is that a guess? Is that a good guess?
No, it's got colors. It's got color plastics.
Oh, okay. Colors or lights. Okay.
That's the musica. The musica has lights.
Oh, the music has got the lights. You spend a lot more money. We're not going to talk about that because that's another show. But listen, the Nuova Simonelli Oscar II can now be bought for roughly the same price as a Gaggia Classic Pro. And I have to say, in the UK, I have a feeling in America, the prices I looked up were a lot higher. And I think this might be to do with the shipping crisis and the container costs. Do you know what? Container costs have gone up for some people by 400%. So, but it's a smart, modern heat exchanger machine with unbeatable steam power. That's me being very assertive.
Yes.
There must be something wrong with it. Max and I both had one. Okay, I put in brackets. I had Max's.
But had the same.
Let's talk about this machine. That's what I wrote. That was the intro.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do, because it is actually, when you look at it, I can see it. I've seen it for one place for £490. That's
very good,
mate. That is stunning.
Now
it's probably off the back of a lorry good, as we say in the UK.
Stolen. I don't know, but I would take that in a heartbeat. I mean, how much is a Gaggia Classic new?
500-ish, isn't it? So, I mean, that is the same kind of price.
Done.
Well, no, you can't rest your case because you were on the podcast talking about it. You could actually say something.
Yeah, no. So it's you get a lot more.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant machine. It has historically a few drawbacks. Namely, the main one is that it tends to run hot.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it runs hot. It tends to overheat. You need to the way the heat exchanger is designed and the way that the group head is heated is actually very hot. It runs very, very hot. There's very little loss of heat between the boiler and the group head, which to some people this might be a good thing. It isn't. It's like, oh yeah, no losses. No, that's, you have to have losses, because otherwise you end up having flash boiling, and you end up having the group head that is way too hot. This machine is actually, it's great to do back-to-back coffees. This works really well in a commercial environment. This is something that would work really well.
That's an incredible price for a commercial environment machine. For like a small cafe, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. The only thing that typically is done as a modification to it is that people normally tend to put flow restrictors in the heat exchanger.
Can I just say, before you go, we actually haven't even said what it is yet. I mean, just so that somebody, let's just assume, because we've assumed everybody knows what it is, but can we just cover off what it actually is?
It is a coffee machine.
I think they got that far, but I mean, first of all, it's a very small form factor.
It's a very small form factor. It's good
because it's a heat exchanger, right?
It's a heat exchanger. It's actually I think it's very well set up, because it's, I don't think you can really go much smaller than what they did. So you have the size of a Gaggia Classic plus a couple of fingers, small fingers.
It's a bit bigger than a Gaggia Classic, isn't it? I seem to remember it was a bit bigger.
It is deeper.
Yeah,
but you don't
definitely
really
deeper.
Have that problem. Well, I mean, you're working on a counter. Most of the time,
depth is not the issue most of the time.
Most of the time, if anything, you have your coffee machine pushed all the way back, and then it's way too far to reach it. So you always end up pulling it forward.
Yeah,
you don't use the space behind. So it's longer, deeper than a Gaggia Classic, significantly deeper. That is not a problem to me, and it's a heat exchanger machine. Lots of plastic. This can be detrimental for some people. I don't think it's a problem. I mean, the outside is plastic. The sides are actually not plastic. The sides are metal.
That was one of the changes from the Oscar I to the Oscar II.
Yes, the Oscar I is a completely different machine. No, I think it's still a good machine. I
don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Well, because you can get the Oscar II for so cheap. Why would you go for the Oscar I? And they made some decent
if you find an Oscar I, if
someone gives you an Oscar I,
I mean,
sure, I'd take it.
Used, but I mean, bid low, £200 maximum.
I wouldn't even.
If it's working well.
Yeah,
they're both great machines. Anyway, nevertheless, the Oscar II is much better because it's been upgraded. They've fixed the problems that the Oscar I had. Namely, there were a few issues with the maintenance of the one-way valves. There were one-way valves that were in plastic. I have a few of them. They're not very good. They work, but eventually they will shatter in time, and one will break, and the pieces of plastic will travel into everywhere and then break everything. I mean, they wouldn't break stuff, but it would be a pain then to get them out. And that's when you have to change them.
That's when you sell it. And that's when someone buys it on eBay, and then get your Oscar II.
The Oscar II, on the other hand, is a much simpler system, way simpler. There's a lot more brass. Inside is very empty. There's hardly anything in it, to be honest. There's the boiler and a few pipes, and
that's nice. I like that,
which is brilliant. The drawback of that,
copper, by the way, copper boiler and copper pipes.
Copper boiler, absolutely, yeah. Copper boiler, copper pipes. The only issue I had with the one I had is that there's no overpressure valve.
Yeah.
So it has the classic pump that goes at 15 bar, which is pointless. So, but it's a very simple job. There's actually a website that's called electro.it, I think is an Italian guy, that sells overpressure valves. So you can buy overpressure valves if you're familiar with these kind of modifications. I did.
Generally, it's pretty simple, isn't it, to to make those changes?
It's not so simple in that one, because you have to open the machine and then you have to find the flow. It's not as simple as it is in other machines. But
on the other hand, if you're in the UK, send it to Max and he'll do it for free. It's not a problem.
For what? He will do it for sure.
He loves doing this kind of stuff. Don't worry about it.
He will do it for sure. For free? But yeah. So it's not an extremely complicated thing, but it's.
So the one that I borrowed from you,
had problems in.
I had problems with the leaky portafilter.
Yes, and that was.
Sorry, I was going to say, had you already modified?
No, I hadn't modified it yet.
Okay,
at the time, so it was. But the thing is, the way they say is that they have what is called mechanical pre-infusion.
Nah, it's like a 1 sec. It basically means it's a 1 second ramp up. So it's not so much pre-infusion. It reduces the flow in the pump for the first second, and then it ramps up to full pressure.
So it's electronic, not.
I don't know. All I know is it ramps. They call it pre-infusion, but it's only for 1 second, and it's basically whilst the pressure is ramping up, you get a little bit of water in there first. I'm not sure how much difference that makes.
It doesn't. It doesn't make much of a difference. So that's the only drawback of it. Which, I mean, once you modify it at 9 bar, you have a perfectly good coffee machine. It's actually really, really good. And I ended up selling it to a person that wanted to open a coffee shop.
Oh, really? Be interested in how they're getting on with it. But I tell you what else I really like about it, and I did not know about its applicability for commercial use. But the one thing that a couple of things I do like about it. I actually wish I could go back. Can I borrow it again? Because I wouldn't mind to have another go playing with it. So I think I'd learn to appreciate it more now. But at the time, I guess I'd going from a Gaggia Classic Pro onto it, and there were a few things, especially the leaky portafilter, I didn't really get on with. Yeah. Also, and we'll come on to it later, but the steam wand was not, which is fantastic. There wasn't
that is the biggest strength of the machine, and we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, we're going to come to that later. But what I wanted to say was that what I really appreciate about that machine, other than, first of all, two things. First of all, the looks. I actually really, those looks have really grown on me now. And secondly, that it's a saturated group head, which I think
it isn't. It is actually a heat exchanger.
Right. Sorry, I should say it's not an E61 group head.
Yes, it's not an E61 group head.
I naively always say it's E61 or saturated, but I know there's different types. Yeah.
So it is not an E61 group head, which is something that I adore of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It fits really well into the lines of the machines. And it means also the way that the whole thing's designed is that there's no mess. It's a very unmessy machine. When you release your portafilter after making the coffee, there's no spurt of high pressure water that goes all over your tray. It's meant to go into your tray, it goes all over. It doesn't do that. It goes straight into the tray. I guess it goes around the back. It's around the back.
So there's a three-way valve that is mounted on the group head. The group head actually looks very similar to an E61, but it's much smaller. So it has less brass, and that's why you have more. You have a faster flow of water,
right?
Because there's less thermal mass in there. You're actually using the thermal mass of the boiler instead of accumulating heat on the group head, which works the same way.
They say something about the group head being thermal compensated. So in that technology, that's the terminology they used.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I think what they've basically done, they've done some math that works out the physics of what they need in their group head versus, what's coming out of the boiler.
Yeah. You have a very hot group head in that one, and it's a very simple piece of brass, and it's not nicely machined. It's very rough because you don't see it, so you can actually keep the price down because there's no chrome, there's nothing fancy. It's inside, so who cares? It looks ugly, so what?
Yeah. So, but you don't see it, so it looks beautiful on the outside.
And you have a three-way valve that is attached to the group head. Normally, you have the water circulating into the group head from the thermosiphon. And then you have the three-way valve that pushes the water into the group head and out. And the three-way valve then connects the portafilter then to the exhaust, not the exhaust, to the waste pipe.
Yeah, exhaust. You can call it exhaust. Yeah. It's okay.
So when you switch it in, it's like a Gaggia Classic. Literally, it's like a Gaggia Classic. It's the same flow path.
Right.
Water in, and the three-way valve is closed. Turn the pump off. The three-way valve goes opens again, and the water from the portafilter is free to backflash into the exhaust, into the waste, and it travels nicely on a pipe into the drip tray, which is much cleaner.
Really nice. It's really nice. Now, the only thing I'd say about the drip tray is it's crap. It's just
plastic.
No, it's not that. That's not the problem. The problem is it's really seated in there tightly. That's what I remember doing. So when you see it's getting full, you think, "Oh, I'll empty it. It's too late."
It's too late.
Now it's too late. It's too late.
It holds a lot of water.
Yeah, it's a big drip tray. It's basically, I got the feeling the Italians, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've made this knowing that a lot of people outside Italy are going to buy it, and they're having a joke on us. They've just done a few things in there. We call them Easter eggs, where you have to find them, right? But you find them. You think, oh, that looks nice. The drip tray is a big drip tray full of water. As soon as you see it's full, it's too late, because to open it, you have to pull it up, and then it just goes all over everywhere. Yeah. So all of that work that they've done to make sure the exhaust goes into the drip tray, it's all clean, there's no mess, it's all taken away because you're having a laugh, really, mate.
Yes,
you pull the drip tray up and you throw water all over the machine, all over the counter. Basically, that's
and then you flood the house because there is about 5 liters in it. And another important thing that is always often overlooked: there is a very, very long distance between the spouts and the base of the drip tray, so you can actually put your tall caps in it if you want.
Yeah,
it's so fancy. You have plenty of space to put a tall cap and a scale.
No, it's a nice design,
which is not something that you can do often. And even with these 61 machines, if you have a cappuccino cap or a proper cappuccino cap, not these
like a 5 ounce
things that are this tall and this wide. No, proper cappuccino cap, which is about this tall and smallish.
It's a smallish. It's like what you have a flat white in.
Probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. And a scale in a Gaggia, you don't fit.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's right.
And in an E61 machine, I have a feeling that if you don't have a very, very thin scale, you would probably struggle. With
you can get it underneath the spouts, or you go with a bottomless portafilter in. But yeah, it's a bit of a
but for example, what I do normally is I brew a double in 2 cups.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
because that's what it's. By the way, guys, breaking news. That's how Italians do normally. When you go in a coffee shop, you don't get the 2 spouts into 1 cup. You get 1 spout into 1 cup.
Yeah, but then you just have 2 cups, and you have to drink out of 2 different cups.
No, you make 2 coffees like that.
Yeah, I know, but if I want both coffees, I want both coffees. So there is such a thing as a double. Yeah. Yeah, like you just drink your single espressos. I understand that, but then you're still stuck on Robustas over there in Italy, and it's very strong.
I actually had a Robusta one, which was amazing. By the way,
let's talk about that before we go on. Yes. Before we go on and just talk, because there's a few good things. I also want to explore the price in the UK and the price in the US at the moment, and maybe how they got to that price and what's going on there. But before we do that, let's talk about 2 things. First of all, the winners that we had and the new giveaway that we're doing. Something very exciting I want to explain there. And talk quickly about what coffees we're drinking. So first of all, I would say that in the US, there was a chap called Ben in the US who won our competition, but we couldn't give him the stuff because he's in the US. And it's just everyone's aware, we're in the UK. I'm terribly sorry about that. But it means that if we have stuff here, we have to send it to the UK. It doesn't make any sense to send stuff to the US. But what I'm going to do for Ben, because I felt very bad, is we're going to send him some coffee. And I was looking at different roasters in the US, because obviously the beans that we send here in the UK to winners, they're basically beans that we've tried and we know they're good.
There's this guy that I heard about recently. It's called Scott Rao. I think.
Oh, Scott Rao. Yeah. I think I've heard of him.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, no, it's not his that we're sending. We're not doing I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going with Bird Rock coffee. I've heard a lot of good things about Bird Rock. And I was looking through. So I'm going to send some from Bird Rock. He was saying he said it would be fantastic to try some different beans, because he's only had the espresso machine for 6 months and he's still getting acclimatized and learning how to use it. So listen to this. Bird Rock coffee. I actually really want to get this. Have you ever heard of a flavor profile as follows: root beer, fig, and sweet pipe tobacco? Yep, Ben, that's what I'm going to send you. So congratulations. You might curse me. I think that sounds pretty amazing. It's from Sumatra.
Good for you, Ben.
It's from Sumatra. So, and we all know Sumatra isn't part of Indonesia. So it's probably going to be, I don't know what's going to be in there. What is it? It's going to have a little look. It is,
tell us all what you think about these tasting notes of secondhand ashtray.
I know. Look, it's going to be interesting. He's in this for the experience. All right. Sometimes you want to love something, but you can't have love without hate, Max. And you just don't know what you love until you try it.
Right.
So we're going to send him a bag of that. And congratulations, Ben. In the UK, I have sent off the goodie bag full of the peak water filter, the Motta tamper, and the spinny thing. What's that called? Distribution tool. Spinny thing. Off to Sammy, whose last name is listed as Ramadan. Now, I'm going to guess that's not your real last name. So I didn't put Ramadan on the thing. I just wrote Sammy and your address. And I sent it via the cheapest postal option possible. So that would be now strapped on the back of a donkey that the Royal Mail will be slowly walking its way to you over the next few days. So enjoy that, and do send us a message to let us know. I know Sammy has actually written on our YouTubes before. So do let us know how you're getting on with that.
Our YouTubes.
Yes, on our YouTube. We're getting quite a few comments these days. We've got a couple, but this is the important one. So I want to tell a new coffee giveaway. New coffee giveaway. I want to show this to you. Look at this. Take a close look, because that is not what we're sending you.
Oh, good.
No. We are going to send you. Look, I threw away the bag that I had of what we're going to give away. I'm going through. So this is a bag for those listening. This is a bag from Carnival Coffee Roasters. They actually have no idea I'm giving away their coffee. I haven't even talked to them. Normally,
subscribe soon, because Nick is drinking it.
Yeah, there might be none left. I can imagine I send them the empty bag.
You have to.
One bean left in there.
You have to be quick.
It's a bit like when you eat all your wife's chocolates, but you leave one in there so that you can plausibly deny that you've eaten them all.
It's the one piece of shame.
There's many bits of shame that I live with, Max. So Carnival Coffee Roasters, I've been drinking through probably 4 or 5. No, I think I've had about 6 actually now of their coffees.
6 old beans.
Wow. Now 6 of their different coffees. Some of them have been a little meh. I mean, like a couple of them have been like, they're nice, but they're nothing particularly I get like right home about. But then there's been a couple that I really, really like. And one of the ones that I really like, get ready for shock and horror. Max, are you sitting down?
Yes.
Well, I know you're sitting down. I can see you. Decaf. This is quite possibly the best decaf I've had. I'm not joking.
What does it taste like? Don't say coffee.
It's an explosion of fruit, and you won't like it because it's an explosion of fruit. Listen to the tasting notes: dark chocolate, apricot, and sweet mandarin. That apricot smacks you in the face. It's a bit like you're walking down the street, you got your headphones on, so you're not expecting anything, and someone comes along with a bucket of mushy apricots and just smashes it over your head. That's what it's like. It's wow. It's really, really nice. I absolutely love it. But that's not what we're going to give you either.
No,
no, we're going to send you a kilo.
So we made a very accurate list of what we're not sending out.
Look, I'm just giving a bit of context. I'm building up to it. You're going to be a master storyteller here, Max.
Get to the bloody point.
All right, La Perla Negra. We're going to send La Perla Negra. And this is a coffee that I had. I've actually just ordered another 500 grams of it.
Because you drank it all.
Yes, I drank it all. And La Perla Negra, whilst if you say something, I'm quickly going to look it up. I can't remember.
The Black Pearl.
Why is my internet going so slowly?
All funny like Captain Jack Sparrow.
No, it's not. So La Perla Negra.
I want to.
What?
I would want that.
Carnival coffee. You'd want strange things, Max. You know what? It's because it's not that one. It's .co.uk, isn't it? There we go. Carnivalcoffee.co.uk. La Perla Negra. It's under their espresso menu. So if you go to the espresso menu, they've got a few different things here. Espresso. There's no X in espresso. The espresso menu. It took me a while to work that out. La Perla Negra Plum. So this has a flavor profile of plum, molasses, and a hint of aniseed. And the thing is you can taste that aniseed. It is nice. It's complex, but it has all of the deliciousness that, I'm looking for in a coffee, but with a little special je ne sais quoi. Yeah, don't make that face. Aniseed? I'm sending you some.
No. I can't have aniseed. I had an accident with Sambuca.
Oh, we talked about this, didn't we? When I mentioned I also fell into a cupboard after drinking that minty thing. What is it? Some kind of, I can't remember.
Yes. So no, aniseed, no, it's not going to do it for me.
I'm not going to do it for you.
Anyway,
I've actually written to them asking them to send you some. I'll write to them again quickly.
Maybe
should I send you the decaf? Do you want to try some? It's very good, Max.
I'll try some. I'll try these things.
Worst case scenario, you send it to me. Yeah. There you go. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give a bag, a kilo of that.
1 whole kilo.
Yeah, 1 whole kilo, or at least what's left out of it. After I've just done I will need to do some quality testing to make sure it's good enough to send on to our listeners. So there won't be a kilo left. There will be, a bean or two.
We're going to send you exactly 1,355 beans. You have to count them.
I'll count the beans. I'll make sure they're all good. And I'll measure them each individually. So no, it'll be come straight from them. So that is a treat, my friends. That is a treat. So do enter, and there'll be instructions on how to enter below, little notes, show notes, or something like that. But basically, you go to your bartalks.net/giveaway and just put your email address in. You enter each week, month.
And the best way to have these beans would be actually with an Oscar.
And so going back onto the Oscar.
Going back to the Oscar, I'm actually looking at the brochure.
Yeah.
That thing of the Oscar mood. So you can have the Oscar mood or the Oscar.
Maybe that's why they're selling the Oscar non-mood so cheap.
It's an older version. So the new Oscar here, it says that there is a bypass that is included in both. So bypass valve means overpressure valve. It's already included. I would want that, because that is probably what was lacking in the previous version of the Oscar II. Anyway, that would be a brilliant thing. If they did that, then there is literally nothing more you can wish for. That is brilliant.
There's always something more I can wish for, Max.
No, not really. No. So the most amazing, stunning, fantastic thing of the Oscar is the steam wand.
Yeah.
You have an amazing steam power. It's brilliant. You have to get good very quickly, because you will have probably to repaint the kitchen the first time that you use it. And
Can I just say 10 seconds? That's how long it took me to steam the milk. I was timing it when I was using it. Yeah. 10 seconds. That's the same power as I had on my commercial 3-group machine.
Yeah, it is a beast. and I do miss that part of the machine. When I had it, I was actually having lots of milk drinks, milk based drinks, because it made the job so nice and so easy and so rewarding that it's just, you want to do it. Then what am I gonna do with this frothed milk? I don't know, something. But it's brilliant. It was brilliant. So because you have a very large, well, it's not really large actually, to be honest. It's the right size. You have 1.4, no, sorry, 3 liter, no, I lied, 2 liter boiler, which is not massive, but
gets the job done.
Yeah, the way
you don't want it massive. You don't want the water sitting in there. You want it to refresh.
Very hot, and and the way it delivers the steam is just brilliant. It's very quick, very very fast, and it's an extremely dry steam as well. It
very good quality.
Heat. Yeah, it transfers the heat to the steam one really well. And another thing I really loved about the Oscar was the steam wand, the knob thing, because it's not a knob, it's a lever. You push.
Yeah, it's a little switch. It's like a little pushy. It's a bit plasticky, but it's it's
plasticky. But
well, it's plasticky because it's plastic. But yeah, it is satisfying to use.
It's very satisfying to use, and you also have a little bit of control over it. You can control it, not
I didn't
massively.
Know that. Actually, didn't. I never knew you could control it.
You can actually press it gently and then go full power. Because one of the things I do not like of other coffee machines, the modern ones, and what is on the Oscar Mood, it's electronic. So you have a button and it's either on or off. I don't want that. I want to have a little bit control. I want it to go gently.
We want that little satisfaction of a little click. Or you say, okay, you want a little bit of analog control.
Yes,
I used to feel that way. I'm not so sure now, but then I don't make that many milk drinks
because you actually have a knob in your.
I have a knob that I turn 20 times to get the steam on.
That's silly. That is silly because
it's totally silly. But can I just say that
the point, and then you turn it and you have a quarter of a turn, and then after that it's just open. So that's all you need. The lever. You can just go and, smack it and go immediately, and that's fine. But the act of smacking it still opens the valve slowly. So you start releasing the steam a little more gentle. If I have a solenoid valve, because that's what it is, a solenoid valve that just opens or closes, it's just full open, full closed. I'm not comfortable with that for some reason. I don't know why. But
it's fair enough. It's, it doesn't tickle you. I understand that. I'll tell you what doesn't tickle me. Yep. Actually, can I just say about the steam? There's one thing, a little factoid I learned. So first of all, it's a 4-hole steam tip. And for a lot of people, a 2-hole might be a better place to start. It's actually kind of an odd choice when you think about it. This machine is priced at more of a sort of an entry level.
Yeah.
But then they give you a 4-hole steam tip, which is kind of a bit weird.
It used to be the choice for
the World Championships,
the World Barista Championship.
That's what I was about to say, and I just wanted to say it quickly before you said it, so that I got the credit. So it was the World Championship tip. It's like they've just taken I suppose, you know what? How much can the steam tip cost? So we'll take the same steam tip and we put in the World Championship, and it just adds.
Yeah, I know. Also, I wouldn't use a 1 or 2 holes in this machine because it will literally
explode
your milk because you have way too much pressure.
But it just seems weird that they've made this thing to be like a world champion level steam machine on an entry level machine, for which we haven't even talked about it. It's got very limited controls. There's no app,
and that is why it was. For the Barista World Championship, because you can't fiddle with it. The only control it had, the old Oscar, I don't know about the new one, I think it's still the same. It's only a time switch.
That's right.
You do not have fluidics, so you do not decide how much water you deliver, you decide how long you infuse for. And that means that if you want to be consistent, you've got to be good.
And this is the other thing too about it in terms of the use case. It's not the best machine if you're in my opinion, if you're experimenting around with lots of different coffees and different beans today, different beans tomorrow.
I disagree.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because you can always have one of the two buttons. You can have one button set at 30 seconds, 35 or whatever, and one button set for 1 minute, 2 minutes infusion, and you stop it whenever you want.
So you got the manual control on it.
You can have the manual control as well, but
I for me, I want to turn it on and off myself. And the whole thing about setting a time, it would never work. For whatever reason, it always seems to be different. If it's in the morning, the grinds are slightly different. The grind is a bit different. Maybe I put some different beans in through the hand grinder. And I don't want to have it set. Like, this is why it's very good for a small cafe, or if you're doing lots of shots back to back, which, as he said, it really excels at. And for the price, that's insane. But if you're poodling around, making this, a shot like this with this coffee, now I'm going to use a hand grinder, use different coffees, doesn't seem to be really designed for that.
It's not. And the other thing is that you cannot control the temperature for it.
Yeah,
it's set. That's right. That's your temperature, and there's going to be all the time. So you cannot change the temperature easily, which is understandable.
For the price.
Exactly. I don't really mind that. What you get is a machine that is very stable, and it will probably teach you a lot.
Yeah. And in some respects, if you're learning, taking some of the flexibility away actually can be a good thing.
Yeah.
And how much are you going to lose? I mean, for this machine, you had it for, let's say you keep it for 18 months or a year, whatever, and you spend that much money on it. It's not a lot of money, even brand new.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how they're doing it this cheap at the moment. I can't help but feeling that it's because the new mood's coming out and they're probably trying to get rid of the old stock. So it might be a great time to go and pick them up.
They still have the mood, the Oscar and the mood at the same time. And the mood actually has a lot more electronics. So you get an LED panel at the top with an app thing. It's not an app, but you have a menu with a little bit of a display. And it tells you things, it does things. I think that is brilliant. That's the one I would want if it had the pushy knob thing instead of the electronic one. That for me is something that will stop me.
Yeah, well, once again, it's the Italians. What they've done, Max, is they knew you wanted that. They gave you all the things that you wanted, and then they took away the other thing that you liked. Yeah. And once again, they're laughing. Just like every time you empty the drip tray and you spill it everywhere. There's an Italian somewhere there at Simonelli.
I can actually tell you that the discharge tank capacity, which is the drip tray, is 1 liter.
1 liter.
That holds.
Imagine dropping that all over your counter, because that's what's going to happen. And every time you do that, it's like they say, like, an angel gets its wings, and you hear that. It's like every time you do that, like an Italian at Simonelli's factory laughs.
Yeah, and Jesus cries.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So they've made some interesting colors. The colors they've got on the mood are, and I'm going to use their terminology here, black, because they couldn't think of they need to go to Apple and get some inspiration. It's not black, it's midnight or something, and then they've got guacamole. Yeah.
which would be amazing if they called it green and not a.
Well, it's an olive green. A guacamole just really sounds messy.
And call it olive green.
Guacamole.
I don't want to think of avocado when I look at a coffee machine.
Yeah. It's not. They're not. Yeah. Guacamole is probably not the most inspired name for that color. Then they've got taupe, which is taupe, which is a color.
Sewage green would have been better, probably.
Well, you should work in their marketing department. So they got taupe, which is actually just again a color, and red. So basically, they've named them unimaginatively their actual colors, which is fine. There's one name. So they've got black, taupe, red, and then like taupe is a color.
Yes, really, is it?
Max. Go look it up.
Max,
it's a brown. It's a color, Max. It's taupe.
It's brown.
It's brown with a bit of gray or something in there. It actually is. It's the official. I don't want to make you on the podcast. I don't want to make you, but it's actually it's help.
It's brown.
Okay, whatever. And then for some reason they went out, had some drinks, and came up with right. Let's not call it green. Let's call it guacamole.
Yes.
Maybe in Italian that sounded something cool. What is Italian for guacamole?
We don't.
You don't.
We don't.
Maybe they didn't realize that. Okay. No. So those are all right. They're right. I wouldn't have a guacamole looking thing on my kitchen. I have to say, I'd go with either the red or the black. You know. Yeah. Otherwise, you regret it. You think that looks cool, and then it's in there, and after a month, you're like, "Why did I buy it?"
Yeah, I don't know.
If they were switchable, you could switch them out.
Another thing,
kits, that would be cool.
Yeah, another thing they have and they give here is you get a wooden handle on the portafilter, which brings me to comment another thing that I really like of the Oscar. The portafilter is angled.
Angled. I know. Why doesn't everybody do that?
It's such a simple solution
against the law.
Yeah,
against the law to make a straight portafilter. Seriously, guys.
You put it on your counter, and the portafilter sits flat.
Yeah,
you don't have to do.
You don't have to get a mat out and a tamping station and all that kind of malarkey.
It's already flat.
Yeah, I know.
You sit it there, and look, it's flat.
Yeah,
it's great.
I know that you're talking to somebody that doesn't have one. And that's the only sort of sense of anguish I get every day.
And you get a 58 millimeter portafilter, so you can actually be in your Gaggia Classic and keep your portafilters and filters.
You know what? There's a guy, a geezer, I'm going to call him, who was on our YouTube. He was commenting quite a bit. I think his name was Charles. By the way, every time I go on to, look, we're live. Who's watching now?
Are we?
Two people are watching. Hello, two people. Were you here by accident? What are you doing here? Hold on. Let me just. Hey, Sammy. Have I actually joined during a live session? Yes, Sammy, you have. Sorry if that was an accident. Have you left yet? Hold on. Let me just say hi to him. I think his name was Charles. Yes. Let's fool him. Yes, I can't say that because now he's going to see that. Yes, you're live too. Yes. Charles was saying that he listened to us for some reason when we were talking about the doohickey machine, the one with the the one that we can never remember the name of, the one with the 53 mil portafilter that we really liked, the
La Spaziale.
La Spaziale. He bought one and he loves it.
Of course he does. It's brilliant.
I think he got it secondhand. And, I think he got a second hand. Well, I think he got a good. I know he got a good deal on it. Sammy says, "Hey, Nick and Max." So, hey, buddy. I'm just going to tell him that I sent him the. I was going to tell him I sent him the stuff. Hey, buddy.
He probably heard it.
Well, he made. We don't know when he joined. I sent you the stuff. If I say stuff, it sounds like we're drug dealing now. Wait, see how long it takes for YouTube to take us down. So,
and we're done.
Listen, let's wrap it up there, Max, because I feel like this is degenerating. Have you got anything else to say?
No. Buy the Oscar Mood and buy two so I can have one.
Yeah, if you're in the UK and you do buy one, can you let me know so I can come around to your kitchen and just play with it? That would be fantastic.
I want it.
Yeah, Max, if you get one, I'll have to borrow it again from you.
Me too.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. All right, my friend, until next week, adios. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
All right.